political science
Yes.
at the University of Liberia. You are a political scientist. I don't know if you've been a politician, because it's one thing to study the two.
That's a very good thing. Yes. A political scientist is not necessarily a politician.
Yeah. So the
But a
practice of
politician can be a political scientist.
the practice of politics is you are a politician.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But you have to go through the doors of an institution to become a political scientist. You have to go to school.
Okay.
So you are schooled as a political scientist. A politician can pick up from anywhere and do it, because there are several definitions of what politics is. The art of the possible, in the African sense, is who gets what, when, and how. And you see it around here.
It is a pathway to national leadership.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah. So do you feel sad sometimes when you see countless politicians in our country who are now schooled in political science?
We do, because the knowledge political science helps you a lot to do what you have to do. For instance, you have several schools of thought. You have the Machiavellian school of thought that says the end justifies the means. That's the extreme side. It is better to be feared than to be loved, according to Machiavelli, Niccolo Machiavelli, who was this guy in Europe. And he came up with a book called The Prince. And he has several things that was encouraging the prince to rule in a way that, people will fear him. And when he's feared, he's better positioned than when, he tries to, maybe satisfy what you want to call I just forgotten the name, but yes, there is a terminology that I would like to use, but when it comes out, say that the social contract. Yes, the social contract.
Yeah. Well, with that said, just give us a brief of your. I mean, again, I don't know why you study political science. You're not a politician, but then you turn to the media. You are a journalist, experienced journalist. Was that for a choice?
Well, in journalism, as you agree with me, you have a beat you were sent to, for instance, the executive mansion. And if you have a background in political science, you sent to the United Nations, you have a background. Now, political science is a big area. My emphasis was on international relations.
Oh, okay.
So I can explain to you regarding what the UN and all of that is about, because that was my aim. We did it broadly, generally, but then I took interest in international relations. So we can look at the international scene, and we can tell you some of the things you call the fears of influence. You see what's happening in ECOWAS. For instance, you have the French countries trying to, break away because they think that they were not giving the kind of, attention that should have been given, and they were robbed and all of that. That you would call the fears of influence of France. Also French territory. And the French do not think that was a good decision made by this country, Burkina Faso, Mali and the other countries, because that was the influence of France. Liberia is take it or not, there's an American zone, I mean, to come and venture here, you have to be very strong. And I always point people to two things. You see the Ducal Palace Hotel, that was taken over by Libya. Libya was responsible to revamp or renovate the Ducal Palace Hotel. But just look across the road. And what do you see? You see the U.S. Embassy, and the Ducal Palace Hotel is overlooking the U.S. Embassy. I mean, politically, that was not expedient to have been done. And I don't know whether it was a coincidence during that period. Before long, that's when Gaddafi died, and there is another building.
And one can only suspect that the Ducal Palace Hotel, the way it is today, can there's a reason for that.
I was about going there. There's another building on Kiri Street, just before you branch off right to Nelson Street. Now, Nelson Street is that street that holds the Cathedral School, and it's a story building as well. But you don't see people at the front. it overlooks the American embassy. So when you talk about fears of influence, these are some of the things you talk about. People know where to venture. You used to hear Charles Taylor say, "Don't mess with my pepper bush." Liberia, whether or not you like it, is America's pepper bush. It's been that way from time immemorial. But why she's not exerting her efforts as she should is a whole different discussion for another day.
You follow politics in our country for years. You covered extensively politics. You've seen a lot. You read a lot. You've interacted with, the movers and shakers of politics in our country, and national leaders as well. What can you say about where we are today in terms of democratic consolidation and the gains we've made over the years, development-wise, economic growth, repositioning ourselves in among the Committee of Nations and all that?
Well, we went through a long period of war. The contemporary genesis started in 1979 and it culminated in 1980 with a coup. 79 was the Rest Riot. And that came about as a result of President Tolbert's decision to increase the price of rice to be able to allow the local rice to be sold on the market, to incrementally phase out the importation of rice, which was going to save X amount of millions. I looked at, the last time I looked at Liberia spent about $100 and some million on rice. So that was aimed at, a warden of that. But then word went around that it was the other way around. He had his farm and he wanted to make money and all of that. And then, it just culminated into chaos. And after that, for a long time, the Doe administration, then came the war and all of that. And the advent of the Sawyer government and the several, interim governments. And then it culminated into Julie Bryan, a 2-year government. And then we shall phased out. And then came the democratic process, the incremental democratic process, where the first election where Ellen Johnson said we took part between ex-president, then a soccer star, George Weah, came on and she won. And I mean, twice in a row she won. That's 2005 and 2011. 2011, I was in the States. I wasn't here, but we got word that she won. And then after that came George Weah against the vice president, then of the Unity Party government. What we see, if you try to juxtapose that with what's happening in West Africa, we think we can be patted on the back. Now, what you need to understand is that there was a time when Liberia spoke at international conferences. There were no other countries that spoke. Why? Because they were not independent. You still had this colonization going on. Africa was compartmentalized or colonized by several superpowers or Western powers. A prominent among which was Great Britain. She had a bigger piece of the pie than France, than Portugal, and all these countries. So Liberia was in the vanguard. Liberia has been a founding member of international organizations. The international organization that preceded the United Nations, the League of Nations, Liberia was a founding member. The United Nations, Liberia was a founding member. The OAU, the Organization of African Unity, Liberia was a founding member. Even ECOWAS. There was a time when the Biafra War was going on. Then was President Tolbert, and he thought that it was high time he went to sort of ameliorate the situation. But the plane that was to have taken him was not in the best of shapes, and he got the advice not to go, and he said he was going, and he went. So what I'm trying to tell you is that Liberia has played a pivotal role in international politics, and it's come back to say, look, even though we've been through 14 years of war, we can tell you that we know what democracy is. Insofar as what you've seen, elections have been held, no uprising, people have accepted the results, and we're moving on.
We've come a long way. Do you think that the gains made thus far, I'm fascinated about sustainable development, so that was sustainability. Do you think the gains that we've made so far can be sustained? And if we are to sustain those gains, what needs to be done? How do we sustain it? Can we take the sustainability of our democratic process to the sustainability of our development, infrastructural development?
If you took a copy of the Inquirer, you will see that I was interviewed regarding my birthday, and the last thing I said, yes, we can if we close ranks and forge ahead. All we need to do is to understand that politics. One American politician said, "Politics or the presidency is business."
Mm.
And at one point in time, you win the business and you are in charge and you do what you have to do, and another person is coming to get into that business. So if we have things that way, if we have this presidency, for instance, the last presidency, what we watched, we saw that, well, to an extent, we had peace, relative peace, and now we have this peace, a continuity. Government is continuity. So what happened in the last government, we see things coming on into the Unity Party government, where they are picking up from where they stopped. Whether it was good or bad, they're picking up from there and going. So you talk about sustainability, developmental sustainability.
Yeah.
You see that what happened Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the groundbreaking ceremony that was here, where the president said Liberia is on the move. So when you talk about being on the move, it started some time ago and it's moving on. So all we have to do is to be responsible, is to be understanding, so to speak, and to know that this is no dynasty. It is a vacancy, but it's not a dynasty. And to get that vacancy, you have to fight to get it. Fighting means you have to, campaign and make sure the elections are won for you. And then you move on and continue to sustain what has been left by the previous government.
But who bears greater responsibility of the process of sustainability? What is sustainability of our democracy? What is sustainability of our infrastructure? Who bears? It said the people in charge. It said our leaders. Or it said young people, it said the young generation. It said that young people now should begin to take education seriously.
When the white man came to Africa, they were struck by one thing. There was something you call the pre-colonial political system in Africa. There was a system here, where the leadership and everything was intact. One of the things that happened to the kings and the queens is that if you did not operate, if you did not, administer well, if you did not lead well, people, the citizens of that given kingdom would desert and go somewhere else. So in other words, you as the head, you as the president, you need to put things in place and make sure that they go on. You need to work along with the other two branches of government and make sure that things are done the way they should to move on. So it's the government that's in power that makes sure, because it's the government that comes out with plans and proposals regarding how the kids, because you have something you call the infant industry, and the infant industry needs to be protected at its infant stage. Who does that? Is the government. So the little ones are protected by giving them the kind of education that they need as a foundation to step on, to spring forward and make sure that things happen. So yes, it's the government. It's the responsibility of the government to make sure that, they do the right thing for people to benefit, in order to be ready to lead the country in the way that will, bring more development and sustain the peace, where you talk about sustainability.
Yeah, I mean, still with the young people are potentially the next group of leaders. Do you see, given all the vulnerabilities associated with the young generation, talking about drugs, all these peer pressure, do you think the young people in Liberia now, they are well positioned to take on leadership? You
see, that's why I said it earlier. You have the DEA, the LDEA, that's responsible to make sure they crack down on drugs, the importation of drugs and all of that. Because the absence or the failure to do that will open up Pandora box and will open up opportunities that I don't even want to call it opportunities, will bring about a disaster. Because where you have these drugs, you talk about Kuch and all of that, people take them. So if they are available, then the youth become vulnerable. So it's a responsibility of the government to make sure that these things,
available,
then the youth become vulnerable, and so it is the responsibility of the government, as the government has been doing in the past regime. You saw $100 million worth of drug caught year in Liberia, and like a boat from the blue, the guys, were set free and they left. But now I don't know why it happened that way, but it is still continuing. So it tells you that the guys are determined. The bad guys, they work on their plans and make sure they improve. So the good guys should be also working on the plans to make sure and say, hey, my man, it can work. And such is happening now.
It can work before, it can work now.
It can work now, and we see that happening. You saw the catch of drugs at the border with Sierra Leone, then at the Rabat International Airport. So it tells you that these guys are working overtime, leaning over backwards to make sure that their work is done, because that's a livelihood.
So it boils down to leadership here.
Of course it does. That's what I've been saying all along. The leader has to take a stand. And many people are asking the question, so what's the outcome of the investigation regarding the LDEA? Because that is a very crucial area, and it needs to be handled expeditiously, so that the leader comes and begin to push forward and make sure that drug crimes is nipped in the bud, because this is very, very, very serious. You see a lot of young people, and some people have used the younger people as shield. And they know one of the ways to use them as shields is to get them involved in these kinds of things, so that they become zombies that you can pull. They become, muppets or puppets that you can pull by the strings and make them do the things you want them to do, leaving them vulnerable, leaving them unprepared, ill-prepared, and leaving the society in a state of uncertainty because of the unavailability of people that should be able to fill in these gaps.
Where does the media fit in here? In all
this is where the media comes in. The media. We went on a trip. I don't know if you ever went on the IVLP, the
No, I haven't.
International Visitors Leadership Program, sponsored by the State Department of the United States. And one of the things that became so broad, we were visiting one of the universities, and we saw this big dog, looking at the entire city. So the dog is like the watchdog. The media's responsibility is why many drugs are being caught, because it's the media that goes and brings these things to the public to let them know. What happened 2 weeks ago was by the media. So the media should be on its P's and Q's to make sure that the public is informed. The role of outreach, sensitization. And because of the financial situation of the media in Liberia, those institutions that are there to help, to chip in, to make sure that the media stands and speak independently should be done, so that things happen the way they should. Because the media plays a pivotal role, like I said, they are the watchdogs.
But it has been undermined by the crisis that has embroiled the PUL. You are a member of the PUL. I was just speaking with Councillor Bobby Livingstone and just trying to opinionate and the legal aspect of all of this. If the president of Liberia, the mother body of all journalists in the country, can be embroiled with a leadership crisis, is it affecting the work of journalists and the collective work of the media of Liberia?
The good thing is any organization, or all organizations, have the rules, the Constitution. So you stick to the Constitution and make sure it happens. You remember when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf said, you guys are the watchdogs, but who are watching the watchdogs? So the media is not Jesus Christ. They have their own problem, but what keeps them on their feet is the Constitution. So if anything goes wrong regarding the media, go to the Constitution, use the Constitution, and make sure you put things in a proper perspective. Now you see what's happening in the United States. A convict is a presidential candidate. What's going to happen? What does the media say? One of the candidates who's the mill calls the CNN, Clinton News Network, and how can you disengage yourself from that? So the media has a pivotal role to play. And it is not all those that say, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but those that do the will of God. So if you are a journalist or a media personality and you run contrary to what it stands for, that it's high time that we use the Lord to make sure you sit in a rocking chair, rock, and watch us do what we have to do.
I mean, I'm touching all sides of your experience. You come from the media background. You come from a political science background. Then let's come to the religious background. You are the pastor of the Faith Healing Temple.
Most people, you see, let me just make this clear. A pastor is one that is in charge of a church.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to be a reverend to be a pastor.
Okay.
No, you don't.
So who are you at the Faith Healing?
Yeah, I'm coming. So you don't necessarily have to be, a reverend to be a pastor. You can be a pastor without being a reverend, but it is advantageous to, get that status. Because in some areas, I mean, they will not look at you so kindly. So, Reverend, I'll just give you a synopsis of the Faith Healing Temple. There was Mother Dukley, who had, where the Faith Healing Temple now is what you used to call the Liberian jungle. It was a nightclub. And for once the preaching comes was the bar. But her husband got ill, a terminal illness that they were constrained to travel to Europe. And in her desperation, she said, Lord, if my husband and I return to Liberia safely, I will serve you. I will do anything you want me to do. So in the midst of preparation for the season, she got that calling. So Mother Dukley, Mother Roberts, then Reverend Henry C. were all pastors. Okay? You're asking me who I was. I used to be in the choir before, but I don't know what this elevation, which I think it is. I'm now a member of the trustees. But I am also a member of the auxiliary choir. That choir is given the fourth Sunday because we love what we do. So they've given us space to be able to, still be useful in the church in many ways. The fourth Sunday of every month is
the choir.
The auxiliary choir. That's the helping choir.
Oh, okay.
So it helps on fourth Sunday. You have a lot of ex-members, because some of the members have been spread all over. The older you get, then you get more responsibilities, and based on what you did in school, then we'll be able to place you. So the trustees handles. I hope it applies for all churches, but the trustees handles the affairs of the church, the running of the church, the smooth run, the property, the assets, and all of that. And that's where we are.
Okay.
But now you talk about an evangelist. I think this is where the confusion comes from.
You are an evangelist.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
An evangelist. I was consecrated by a Bishop John Kunkun of the Church of God. He has the City of Light Church. So what has this given me? Is giving me the authority to go out there and evangelize. Well, in other words, go out there and win souls. Two ways I can: singing and preaching. And I'm doing both of them.
You do it effectively.
Liberia. Quite.
What is the role? We've talked about societal ills.
Yeah.
The role of the media.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the role of the church.
Great.
In instilling morality and righteousness in our society, and especially in our leaders.
Somebody once said, "What? The 14-year war took place in Liberia? That's quote unquote a Christian nation founded on Christian principle. We got a lot of churches around here, but I would advise every Christian to read Matthew 7. You got two kinds of Christians. You got those that say that told Jesus on judgment day. Jesus said there will be those that will say, Lord, Lord. Not all those that say, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. And there will be those that say, didn't we prophesy in your name? Listen carefully. Didn't we cast out demons in your name? Didn't we do many wonderful things in your name? So these days you have these three things. You have prophecy. People like to hear prophecy. You have deliverance. People want to be delivered. Then you have miracles. People want miracles. But it will surprise you to know that Jesus said, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity, I know you not. So we must be very careful. We say we are Christians. The Lord, the same Jesus in the Beatitudes, because the Beatitudes begin from Matthew chapter 5 straight through 7. He said, let your light so shine before men that they will see your good works and glorify the Father who is in heaven. So if you call yourself a Christian and you begin to work contrary to what is expected of you, then you might just be in that category where he says, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. But the role of the church is to mold the minds of its membership. And the membership, if I mean, you look at the government, the big names, the president is from the Baptist church, his wife is from the Baptist church. I don't know about the vice president, Yumli Conga Lawrence, her father has a church, Senator Lawrence, and all these people come from the church. So with the alleged corruption and whatnot is going on, are they really listening? Are they really Christian? Or they are there, some people say to dress to impress. Are you going to church to dress to impress, and make some appointments with the girls and the boys and all of that? You must live the life that is worth living, because Galatians 5:7 says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And Bishop Darlington Johnson, when he came from the States, he attended the Oral Roberts University. When he came on that Friday, passed on the Bethel Church to him. One of the things he said the church owes the nation an apology. No sooner he said that, because what preceded was Mother Douglas said, only 25 persons in this country, according to what God has said, are righteous people. Other than, I think, 1 million or so the population, and people took exception to that. And later, Bishop Darlington Johnson said, the church owes the nation an apology. And one of those that it didn't go down well with was the bishop of the Methodist Church, then Dr. Kula. He said, well, maybe it's his church. But fast forward, you saw what happened. The war came. If you have a Christian nation where, war will come in, every time the Israelites went the wrong way, they were in captivity. Hezekiah did not go into captivity. He did all that he could to keep the sanctity of the church. His son Manasseh, when Manasseh came, Manasseh saw what his father did. He saw all of the good things his father did, but he decided to derail what his father did. And he went into captivity, and he was tortured and all, and in his desperation, he asked God for forgiveness. And that's one of the, let me be a little idiomatic. That's one of the weak points of God. He's a God of love. And when Manasseh prayed, he was, extricated from that situation, and he went back and served. What we're trying to say is the church is there, just like how the media is the watchdog. The church is there as what you want to call a cleansing house. You go there to be preached to. You got counselors to tell you what to do.
But has it lived up to that assignment?
Well, that's what I said. Like I said it and I say it again. You got two people in the church. You got those that have the form of godliness but deny the power, and we see it here. A few months ago, there was this guy who was trying to prophesy. Some of these guys, they go to Facebook and, look at when you were born and all of that. And if it happens, it's coincidental, and say, Vavli, you were born on September, for instance, John Sharif, you were born on August 20, and your mother is Esther Sharif. She is dead. Your father, those kinds of things, you don't take God for a joke. So you got two people in the church, and those that are unlike this Vavli are those that are struggling to make sure that the church keeps intact. And if you know that this person is not doing the right thing, man, you got to let them get out and move on with the church. So the church is playing its role, but I think we should be able to close ranks in a way that we can move forward. But in the same Galatians, somewhere there in 3:28, it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for we are all one in Christ Jesus. So that's how the church should be. 2 Corinthians 5:17 tells you, and it stemmed from the experience Paul had on the road to Damascus, where he was going to persecute the church. He was not a part of the church. He was going to persecute the church. And I think this is a story that almost everybody knows. And Jesus said, why are you persecuting me? This big light came, and it's only he that saw it. All the guys around him didn't know what was happening. And God instructed him. And Paul is responsible for having written, I think, a little over 60% of the New Testament. So people can be changed. You have to, you see, God gives everybody an opportunity. You make your decisions. God doesn't make it for you. He tells you that this is the wrong way. This is the right way. Psalm 34 verse 19 says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. So he tells you before you even enter that, hey, my brother, Christianity is not all milk and honey. Just like how a rough mineral like gold or silver has to be tested for its genuineness, the Christians have to go through persecution to be assured that they're really Christians. In the same Beatitudes, he said, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you for my name's sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad. So as Christians, we go through these things, but we stand out when we come up with flying colors. But there are many who don't want to do that. They believe there's nothing wrong. But don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with prosperity. But we as Christians need to read the Bible, because some of the things it tells us to do, they belong to the other continents. They belong to the other planets, not here. So we have to be very careful. The church is playing its role, but I think it needs to do far more better. Okay. I mean, the church.
Let's say the religious leaders.
Let me just say something. I thought, were you around during the 1990 war? No. Do you know E.J. Roy Vavle? Do you know E.J. Roy? I know you don't. No. What I'm trying to say is,
I wasn't born.
Dix, Bishop Dix, entered the house at that time. The things were at their fiercest regarding the war when there was the advent of the war to Monrovia. He said, "You guys are sitting here talking about this and that when there is something going on. That's what the church should be." Bishop Francis, Marco Pakala Francis, all these guys, or what was it, the Shika Fuma Kone, and all these people. They did what they had to do because they wanted things to happen the way they wanted them to happen. So,
yeah, you listening to the Super Morning Show. We talked to on his 62nd birth anniversary. We thought to speak with John Sharif, veteran Liberian journalist, an evangelist of the gospel, also a political scientist. Just to hear from him, he's so fascinating about society, how society works, and how we should get things done. But Mr. Sherry, let's take calls. 5 calls before I go to the Momo Heroes.
I don't mind
of the year. Call us on 0770581886, 770581886, and be live. This is the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio with me, Vafle Kamara, and I'm here in conversation with Mr. John Sharif.
Evangelist.
Yeah, evangelist.
Journalist. Evangelist, journalist.
Yeah, but
do I deserve the title?
I was asking. I mean, I find it difficult seeing how you pay full time. I mean, you attend every church service, right?
I do.
Yeah, and then you also read the news.
That was it's a calling. Radio. It's a calling.
Let's hear from Jiple Yenswa. Jiple, good morning.
Good morning, Vavle. Director, how are you?
I'm fine.
Let me say good morning to Evangelist John in studio.
Good morning, sir.
For the public, this is B.G. Plenyiswa.
It's a pleasure.
I follow John at the level of the Ome Radio when you were at that station, But one thing he said this morning that touches me, Vavle. When you don't enter in that, because the scholar I would tell you that under the river, there's something they call faith. So when you are getting the historical relative to Morocco and Liberia and France and the other Francophone countries in West Africa, and basically learning it on the international religion, meaning the strength of the United States of America across the globe. It's what makes me to call and say congratulations. One of those who didn't understand the importance of the United States of America globally when it comes to the issue of international religion, we start talking things that they don't understand the definition of the United States of America. They are the biggest power in the world. So the best thing you can do is to work with them, put things on the table, and give and take and do the bargaining agreement process and make sure that what you want from them you can get it so that you can move, because they are the superpower and wanting to work around and see how we can make our country get better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jiple. JJB, you can call back. Let's hear from this person. Call us on 0770581886. Yeah, J. Kofa BN, morning. Your chief elder.
Good morning, Vavle. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
Let me say good morning to Big Brother Sharif and happy birthday to him.
Thank you, sir.
The man is naturally a handsome man. I guess it's the two and he still never gets bored.
His sings are all even.
I'm telling you, he's a nice guy. Let me say good morning, Papa.
He will sing here the morning.
Yeah, you like to do one of his songs.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, let me say exactly what you have done again. This is what sometimes we need to do. Sometimes we need to sideline some of the issues of politics and bring in true people who love this country, who believe that Liberia can get better. And I think the discussion today, you took it to another level. I can almost say 3 segments of a man who I've known for many years. His love as, somebody who studied political science, someone who is a religious person, and his work as a media person. These are people, young people need to emulate. Mm-hmm. You will never hear a negative name about someone like Mr. Cherry when he practiced journalism and worked as a media person. For a long period of time, he worked as a media person in this country. Yep. And every young person who is interested in media work, you should emulate these kinds of people. Mr. Cherry, why you stay alive at age 62? I know you got many more years to go. Let me say thanks for your service and love for country, and especially working with religious people in our country. Thank you so very kindly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We can take a call and go back to Mr. Sharif and then speak with our Momo hero of the year. Call us on 770-581886, 0770-581886. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm fine. What's your name?
Bless God. I'm Elder Joseph Stewart. I call from Painesville.
Let's hear you, Elder.
It's a pleasure listening to our brother in studio. I would say to you that these are works that we need to do, specifically within the house of God. In a sense, within our country has to do a lot of things that our brother stated. And we should be working in that direction to see how best we can go forward other than going backward. So I just called to say a big thank you to him and all of that, and see how best we can work together to improve this nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sharif, plenty praise for you on your birthday. Let me say happy birthday again to you. Today, Palaja, that family discussion, Hassan Kia, who invited you? Even though you definitely will have show you too.
Well, you know, it's always good to pay respect to the boss, whatever he wants, because
family discussion. Mr. Kev, morning, welcome.
Morning, you know, you sound bad, you know, on the Sarah Pass show, I'll just show up. He said, look, I just crush it on the show. Every day he just show up. Nobody can invite him.
That's the good thing about being the big brother, you know. Once you're the big brother, you're forever the big brother. Yeah.
No, I must say congratulations, John Sharif. And like Jacob said, the guy still looks handsome. I mean, 62, you're like 26.
I showed you my 40-year-old daughter with 5 grandchildren.
Yes, he showed me the daughter. And I'm asking, is that your wife? And you know, John, you see,
we need not tell Vavle what we went through. This guy, I crossed path and all of that, and we went bad before, you know. So that's what produced that 40-year-old child. I did not think about that. Really. We were bad boys. We were not ready. During those days, Vavle, when you were called baby pa, no woman won't go with you. That baby pa there, baby man there. No. So we just said, look, we just going to have fun, you know.
No, I mean, on your birthday, I thought to do this. We just have the discussion.
No.
You know, we can talk about the politics through the week. I mean, you just sometimes just have light discussion.
You know. And John has been a professional. And we check the history of John. John has been a musician and an artist for a long time. Those days we used to have talent show. You know, I mean, and in fact, Anthony Bauer is going to tell you what you know, when we used to have talent show. John used to be there. John used to be, I mean, one of the best singers.
Please tell Vavle, ask him if he knows EJ Roy.
You know what EJ is?
You know Reldo Cinema.
You know Reldo Cinema?
Gabriel Cinema.
Reldo Cinema. Reldo Cinema.
I leave the show and just
Reldo Cinema. Where the guy stuck
leave the show and just sleep.
There used to be Reldo Cinema. Then Roxy used to be on Rush.
Directly opposite where in the building that housed Lone Star, the corner of
Roxy Cinema.
And directly opposite was Gabriel.
And EJ Road used to be right opposite Central Bank. Central Bank, EJ Road. There they used to have real talent show, and there John, the likes of John, Abraham Kole, Tony Kabade, what's his name? Planketem Africa.
Steve Wardrobe.
Steve Wardrobe, and what's the guy named Roberts? What's the guy that died?
Which one? Tecumseh Roberts.
Those are his peers. Those are people he sang with way.
Talking about age. There is this animal that never grows. It has a particular. It never grows. So it was owing one of the other animals, I think lion or so, and the lion came to get his dead back. He said, "I beg you, I will pay you when I get big." The other animal said,
that
can go.
So maybe that's what your is.
Yeah. So let's. So you have to sing for us.
So no, but
come and say something.
Vawan is a singer as well. Yeah.
Man, John. Let me say. This is amazing to have you as young as you are. Telling me you're 62.
He's actually 26.
Yeah, well, let's turn the number around.
It's good I said it because not only at my church, but several other places, come. Hello, Brother Sherry.
It's a
young guy,
So let me say congratulations on your birthday.
Thanks so much.
And let me thank you for all that you do, from church to journalism. I heard you talk a lot about political science. I was a bit like, how comes? Because probably if we had the guys who did political science at that level going into politics, then probably will be a little better, because they're coming with the policies, the concepts, the views, and all of that, as compared to people who will,
you get to know the leadership style.
Yeah.
There's something that's called situationalism, Vavle. If you're in a situation like what's going on now, it is alleged that there is high rampant corruption at the legislative branch, and the president has the executive branch. You look at the situation and you apply the leadership style
exactly
that can ameliorate what's going on.
You have a situation that you want to get solved. You're not going to do it by heart.
No, you already know. You studied it already. So, that's the difference.
But I think one thing that you have done is to expose yourself. You need to start talking more, giving out your thoughts, your views, and all of that.
Wherever you call me. And I told Charles Taylor, listen to me. I was called and I told President Taylor, I said, if God can make a rebel leader like you president, then you need to do your best. And I didn't realize who were all around. You had the guys with gun and whatnot. And after I said that, the president sent a Pastor Olai Collins for me to, the wife of, the former wife, I think, Aaron Collins, Paki. She came, I thought she was going to somebody. She said, the president will have you do that song again. What's the song if I can help somebody? After I got through, he fired the whole cabinet. And so everybody was trying to find out, who's this guy? Is he looking for a job? No, I had a job already. I was the assistant manager for collections under Nibali Wanda at the so that's the kind of person I am. I mean, let me just say this. If you come from nowhere and the people empower you, when our fathers were in the House of Representatives, my father was the first representative of Bokpa District in Grand Cape County. That district houses the Mano River Union. Those guys did not talk about getting more money to pay people. It's not your responsibility to pay people school fees. It's the government's. All you need to do is make sure what you are there to do it.
My
father built the alternative road to Mano River from his. So we're talking about during those days. My father said it is not it is not intelligent to ask Hassan Kewu. Hassan Kewu, you being Gaula over the weekend. I come here to see. He said no. If you want to know whether Hassan Kewu is going to Gaula, you say Hassan Kewu. You know I have to pass through Gaula to get to Papa. So when I will meet you at Gaula, so the answer Hassan Kewu gives tells me whether or not he will be there. But we see a lot of
and so you you want to hear John also behind the microphone as a news presenter, newscaster.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say it's
So a man of
ELBC.
many.
No, I'll give you a
Different-
small pro bono until we can decide. You know,
Wow.
because, yeah, I can give you a small pro bono.
When to make our decide.
Yeah.
Makisi Papa will say,
Yeah.
we can make
So
our
we
decide.
make, we make, we
The
make
thing about it is,
look
over the years,
uncomfortable now.
Over the years, I've had a lot of friends here. So I mean, Bowen, you, Fangon, this is our country, my brother.
So
anything I can.
we don't want to
Yeah.
we don't want to take away from the Momo hero
All right.
because this
Oh,
guy
yes.
is my hero.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my hero.
What together, Jared?
This is James
Familiar.
Papi
James
Kwabo.
Yeah, okay.
This is a guy who is turning water into wine. That's the guy.
Congratulations.
Anyway, but Joe, I know we can't leave without hearing you. Just a bar of something.
Yeah.
You know.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, Father. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. Oh, I've needed thy hand, thou hast provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto Liberia.
The voice of the great John Sharif on his birthday. Mr. Sharif, I thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
I'm honored. Thanks so much for having me.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then I turn the microphone over to MTN, Lone Star Cell MTN Momo Hero of the Year 2024. James Kwabo, the CEO of Alternative Youth Radio in Zozo, Lofa County, a young brother who's doing extraordinary things in Zozo, Lofa County, empowering other young people. But let's begin like this on the Super Morning Show with our Momo Hero of the Year.
The winner of the 2024 Momo Heroes of Change is James Papi Kwabo.
This is the story of a journey from struggle to glory. James Papi Kwabo Jr. Beacon of hope, oh yeah. In a small town called Duyama, I was born and raised. Single mother's love through the hardest days. She took me to Monrovia, searching for the light, but life took her away, left me in the night. Cold water in my wheelbarrow, biscuits in my hand. Monrovia streets were my only stand. Shelter in the shadows and classrooms I'd sleep, but my dreams were big, buried down deep. I am a beacon of hope, rising from the pain, turning struggles into strength.
Oh, sorry.
Turning struggles into strength through the storm and rain. From the heart of Zozo, we're shining bright. Alternative Youth Radio, we're the guiding light. At 17, fetching wood, I took a fall. Paralyzed, I thought I lost it all. But divine grace and a helping hand brought me back to rise and stand. Back to Lofa, I returned to my roots, education and hope, my pursuit. In a shipping container, the dream was born. Now we light up lives from dusk till dawn. I am a beacon of hope, rising from the pain, turning struggles into strength. Through the storm and rain, from the heart of Zozo, we're shining bright. Alternative Youth Radio, we're the guiding light. who found a way from sweeper to store. Now she cares for her children, not struggling anymore.
This is the Super Morning Show from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your man, Barflay Kamara.
In hand, now she leads with courage across the land. Junior left the gold fields, his future secure.
This is the Super Morning Show from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your man, Barflay Kamara.
Rising from the pain, turning struggles into strength through the storm and rain. From the heart of Sosa, we're shining bright. Alternative Youth Radio, we're the guiding light. With resilience and grace, we rise, we stand, changing lives, healing this land. Together we're stronger, together we thrive, one story at a time, keeping hope alive. Na na na, yeah, beacon of hope. From the streets of struggle to a brighter soul. Samuel Sylvester Mova, LIB Afrobeat King.
Oh yes, indeed. That is the song done by Samuel Sylvester Moba for the Momo Hero, Lone Star MT and Momo Hero of the Year, James Quabo. He's in studio. Again, James, I mean, I'd like to say congratulations again and thanks for all that you do, not just for yourself, but for your community, for other young people. You know, your accomplishments are way more than your age and all that, and winning this. I mean, when I was, interviewing all of the finalists, I think that was on Monday.
Yeah.
I knew there was this inclination that you just giving. I'm aware of what you do, but I knew that it was coming your way. Again, I'd like to say congratulations and welcome to the Super Morning Show.
Thank you, Vafre. And let me say, my uncle Vafre, it's great to be here. You know, my uncle interviewing family discussion. But however, it's great to be here this morning. Let me say good morning to you, morning to our young people in Liberia. And as a matter of fact, the community radio stations in Lofa are carrying this interview.
Oh, okay.
Especially in Foya and Vaon Kolaon. So I'd like to say good morning, and it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Great.
And it's good.
Great. Let people know who our Momo Hero of the Year is. I mean, you've been profiled by Lone Star, but not many people, especially our old man in the village, know you. They don't have the data to go online and read about you. Just say from yourself who you are.
Well, I am a resilient and determined young person, very passionate about the development of rural Liberia, for which, irrespective of getting a master, I've decided to live my entire life in the rural part of the country, to create opportunities for marginalized young people, disadvantaged, and because in the rural community you have limited access to opportunities, so people have to leave from the rural community coming to Monrovia to seek better opportunities. So that's what we want to do, to be able to deconcentrate. So as a person, my entire life has been lived and continue to be lived in supporting other young people come up, because those were the moments that I had struggling days. And so if somebody lifted me up, I should be a blessing as well. I should look back and lift other people up so that they meet their full potential. So that's me. For over 20 years now of my life has been in the communication field, starting as a child broadcaster, moving on as a reporter, and eventually establishing and innovating an idea to have Liberia's its own radio station for young people, which is the first of its kind, especially in the rural community. And besides that, we are disrupting the entire secting of the community radio station positively. And the disruption we are doing is that people have had the mindset that community radio stations should just depend totally on here now, should not innovate. And so you are in one makeshift structure, you remain there forever because you your quote unquote community radio. So we're trying to disrupt that mentality and bring in new innovation to the process of governance. So that's James Kwame.
So location should not define us.
Absolutely. Your location shouldn't be the definition of who you are. What matters is the fact that you can even be in a village and make a greater impact on a national stage, like we are doing. I mean, and a lot of people I've had conversations with. For instance, when I graduated from UMU, and I told my colleagues that I'm going back to Lofa in 2014 to live. And some of my friends told me, look, you're going to die there because people will kill you. I said, look, that mentality is one reason why I'm going back. Because if you come from a community, you already identify the problems. So it is just an opportunity to come and be educated and go back and solve the problems. Because the essence of education is that you must have an impact in the lives of other people. Because for instance, I was born in Lofa. I grew up in Lofa. I did everything in Lofa. I went to high school in Lofa. I graduated from there. So the point is, it means that I've understood the challenges, and it's just a better opportunity for me to go back and solve those problems with the help of the community, bringing new ideas, because that's the reason for which I came to school. So when I went back and lived there for the longest time, and some of my colleagues said, "What?
That means after graduating from UMU,
I went back.
You went back to Zozo.
I went back to.
At the time, you were a reporter or what?
Yeah, at that time I was with the other radio station as a reporter then, and so I lived there.
And you studied mass communication.
Yeah, with emphasis in broadcasting. And as a matter of fact, I graduated magna cum laude from UMU. So I decided to say, look, looking at the problems here, we have to have an alternative solution. The issue is we need to bring the young people to solve the problems. These young people are the ones who are in majority the victims of the situation, the lack of access to opportunities. Most of the people that are affected are young people. So let's have an alternative voice. Let's create this idea of building a youth radio station squarely on young people, and young people coming together to solve the community issue. It's a social enterprise. So you bring black minds together, develop the concept and share with them, push it up to them, and then you guys come up with a solution. So let's say our community has been having reliance on Monrovia throughout. So out of the schools, if during school time you have to move from Zozo to come to Monrovia to buy copybooks in dozen, and so those shops. So we said, let's find a solution. Let's build a stationery shop. So now we open a stationery shop with the help of Internews, like brought on this USA Media Activity project. They provided us $5,500, and we took.
And you won a grant through a competitive process.
Yes,
it's not just
So we went there and we pitched our idea that this is the social problem in our community. Many of the students, they rely on Monrovia to get material. So if we can get a stationery shop that will provide similar price like what is being offered in Monrovia, because the essence is not about profit. Our drive is about change. It's about impact. It's about solving the community issues. So now we have that stationery shop. Initially, we won $5,500 in a competitive bidding pitching competition at Internews. And then we match it up with a loan from the local bank with $3 million to upgrade it. So what we are trying to do is that we have built that kind of respect in the community that even the local bank can be brave to even give us up to $2 to $3 million Liberian dollar. So we have positioned ourselves in a way that we are trusted not only by the community but even outside of the community. Because if you give us a dime, we make sure that that dam is accounted for. And just in 8 years, we came from a shipping container. Now
you mean a radio station?
Yeah, the radio station in 8 years, because we were established in June 2016. So we left from broadcasting in a shipping container. Now we got 2 structures owned by us. Yeah, constructed by us from the ground level. So the other one that is up the tower was constructed using dirt bricks. But now we have our own land. We've been able to build a complex value over 50,000 United States dollars right in Zozo. If you enter that facility and you saw, maybe you would think that you got one radio station in Monrovia, and people have doubted And it has to be with passion, because we would have chosen to say, let's take AYR to Monrovia because there are a lot of opportunities. We could get a lot of attractions and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But we said, look, it's better for the attractions to follow us than for us to go Monrovia and something. Yeah.
But Jules, was there a communication gap? Was there a broadcasting gap in Zozo? You had radio station already in Zozo. You have many of them in Vonjema and other areas. Why establish another one? What's the motivation?
Well, the thing is, we had a clear mind of having young people taking full charge. And we wanted to run a social enterprise. A social enterprise, because the issue of sustaining community radio stations has become a major problem. And now there are lots of community radio stations, even that were established before us, right? They are now capping from us because we have brought in square innovation for sustainability.
The sustainability model.
Yes. So, like for us, we venture into agriculture, right?
So the station has a farm.
Yes, we started with a garden.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do now, we're having negotiations for 10 acres of land. So just for farming. And we will start with that, because what is happening is many a times you depend on NGOs. One day they will not have a project. So how do you survive? How do you buy a microphone? How do you run your generator? How do you do this? How do you send reporters in the field? If you have the agricultural project running very well and supporting the radio station, like what the stationery shop is doing, if we have an issue of getting fuel, we run to the stationery shop and buy maybe 1 or 2 gallons of fuel and run for the day. So you don't have to wait for announcements to come, because the community members, they are more passionate, they want to support, but they may not have the money, and you still need to serve them. So we have found alternative ways to running community radio stations, and that's a model. Many of the community radio stations were not willing to incorporate, but now they are gradually seeing that these are things that are working. So you have to have a social enterprise component to the running of community radio stations. And that's what we have brought.
So how many young people in the employ of AYR?
Well, currently we have 31. Not all are employees.
Okay.
15 of them are employees and volunteers. Then we have the rest still in training.
Okay.
And then previously we had about 50 people being trained.
Okay.
Some of them have left already. Zozo, like the likes of Bolu, the likes of James Yakesen, Fopa. Fopa came from AYR, and a host of other them. They've left. So what has happened now, we're saying, look, the same issues we're talking about when you train people, they will have to leave because they don't have all of the opportunities. Somebody wants to obtain master, somebody wants to obtain bachelor degree. You've already introduced them to journalism, right? They will leave from Zozo to come to Monrovia seeking that opportunity. So we say, let's find a solution to that. So whenever we identify the problems, we find a solution. So now we're building a $200,000 school of journalism and vocational education. Meaning, if you come from that school, we will have an enterprising approach. So you will learn everything from the school, and then you will have an opportunity to work and expand your idea right in the county. So our approach is about finding the solutions to the social problems in the community. So in the next 5 to 6 years, once that school is established, our anticipation is that we're going to be training around 15,000 rural residents with emphasis on young people to prepare them for the job market. So they don't have to leave from the rural community and come to Monrovia seeking employment. So we want to create that avenue.
Okay.
A point of attraction, yes.
So what's the status of the project?
Right now we are at the foundation level, and we're grateful also to this Momo Hero thing, right? This award that we won with a cash value of 10,000 or more, or $2 million. So that is going to be invested 100% into that project. So it will take us to another level of the project, because as we speak, we've invested around 16,000 already.
So your participation in the Momo Hero competition was to also have an opportunity to source funding for this project.
Absolutely, and that's one. And then two, last year we participated in this particular competition. We participated and we end up to the 10th place, the top 10.
Okay.
We didn't cross the top 5. So we announced to our people who supported us. We said, look, and that's why I've always said, look, Vafle, it's not Momo Hero that made me a leader. I was already and I'm already a leader. Momo Hero just provided me an opportunity to showcase my leadership to the national stage. So we needed to have made use of the opportunity. So we said to them, look, we're not deterred that we didn't cross to the top 5. We are going back to prepare. When we were joining Momo Hero in 2023, at that time we were dedicating a $50,000 United States dollar media complex. When we came back in this particular competition, we have broken ground already for a $200,000 United States dollar School of Professional Journalism and Vocational Education. So actively that project is going on. And also, we brought the community together. You know, the issue of this religious trouble thing, Alternative Youth Radio has been able to unite the community. Look, if you watch
and Lofa is a highly traditional county.
If you watch the videos from our anniversary, the 8th anniversary, you could see cross section of the community. You had the highest traditional leaders of our land there at that program. You had the Muslim community at the highest level there. You had the tribal people, the Loma, all the tribes there. And they were presenting colas. They were presenting, unanimously presenting chickens. And even at the end of the event, look, there's one older woman who walked to me and brought chicken to appreciate me and my team for the great work we are doing. An elderly woman, she's a singer in Zaza. They call her Ma Badekolu. She walked with a chicken and brought it and said, cook pepper soup, enjoy yourself. You're doing so much work for our community. Look, I've told people, look, if it was just for getting a job to live as an individual, right? With a master, I can seek any international job right now. With my innovation, I can work anywhere. But look, I've said to many people, even if you were to offer me a full-time job in Monrovia now that you will pay me $2,000, I can take it. The reason is, I will not guard the vision that I have because it will demand my time in Monrovia, which I'm not willing to do. So I can take any job that will take me from Zaza or take me from Lofa to give me a full-time, obligation outside of Zaza. Because when you have a vision, you have to ensure that you protect that vision so that when the people you are bringing up, when they get used to it, so even if you're not there now, the vision will dry.
Yeah.
So you have to make the vision self-sustainable, that it will not have to survive at the mercy of handouts. And that's what we're doing. So at this stage now, we are all out there asking people to help, right? But in the next 5, 6, 7 years, we'll only be launching projects. We'll only be launching programs because we already have sources of funding and maybe only technical supports and education or other advanced training will be seeking to improve the sector. And our point is to go beyond Alternative Youth Radio. We need to lend hands to other community radio stations. We need to support them. We need to share our ideas with them. So these kind of conversations and plans are already on the way. And for the fact that we've been recognized nationally, it now puts us in a better position also to transfer our knowledge, to transfer our leadership skills to other community radio stations, to other grassroots organizations at the level of the community, so that they be able to exhibit such leadership style, to be able to exhibit such impactful leadership style. For us, we're more concerned about impact.
The challenges of the community, Zozo as a community, are a motivation factor for you. How have the communities, the community itself, being receptive of the work that you do?
Very much.
And appreciative of the work that you do. And what level of transformation has the work that you do made on the community?
Well, the community right now, everybody just waiting now for us to carry a war. They've already planning a very serious celebration. That is their award. Look, the competition had 30% for votes, right? Then 70% the judges' decision. We had the opportunity to do presentation. We had the opportunity to meet with the judges while the community were voting. But in Lofa, it became like a loafer affair. All of the community radio stations, they took that and sent the message. People were voting from their villages. Some people who ride motorbike. That's how interesting it was in this particular competition. People will ride motorbike from the beach where there is no network, but the guys Lone Star phone
To find
network, come to a nearby town and vote and go back. That's how they were doing it. So let's say you in a town closer to another town that has Lone Star network. So maybe even if it is 45 minutes. And one interesting thing, there was a guy who came from a very far away, I think Baloma area or so. So he was on his motorbike. He came to the compound. He said, "Look, when you're calling the number, I can't remember the number. So I came for you to write it down for me." Yes, and we wrote it down. He put it. He said, "Yeah, give me 2 copies." So we gave 2. He stole one. He saved it in his phone. And so every morning it became his obligation. When he gets up, that's the first job he will vote. So the 30%, it was from across the country. In fact, people in Bone County, all over the country, people voted for us in their numbers. And even in Morovia, because look, people have seen our passion.
What does it speak to the impact?
The impact, they know that voting for me or voting for us in this competition is like encouraging Bolu, who was recruited from the community to be empowered today. She has come to the national stage. Is to say that Junior, who was on a gold mine and also burning charcoal to support his single mother and also support his junior brother in school, is to say, look, you need to step up a bit and let's continue to hold on to a better future for you. It was not me as an individual. They saw a limelight that there will be more transformation in the rural community, especially using radio. We're taking radio from just mere broadcasting. We are using radio for community development. We're using radio for community unity. We're using radio for transformation and youth development. These are the things that we're using radio for. And that's why we're incorporating innovative ideas for long-term sustainability. We've developed, I stand to be corrected, our community radio station is the first in this country to have a 5-year strategic plan. I stand to be corrected. That even international donor partners have referenced. Yeah, so we've developed a 5-year strategic plan.
What does the plan say?
The 5-year strategic plan is talking about expansion.
Okay.
Yeah, bringing in new approaches to long-term sustainability. And one of them we've done is the stationery shop. Now, it talks about the construction of the school. So we are also looking at several other means as outlined in our expansion plan. And the issue of getting community support, huge community support and resilience in our projects, irrespective of the challenges that will come. So we have that whole 5 years strategic plan that we're implementing gradually. So everything we do falls within the 5-year strategic plan. So it guides us into the process of how we drive the vision of Autonomy Youth Radio.
Okay, you're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. This morning we have in studio the Lone Star MTN Momo Hero of the year 2024, James Kwabo, the CEO of Alternative Youth Radio in Zozo, Lofa County, doing extraordinary things in his community. So now you've won, you are the Momo Hero of the year. There will be proceed, I think 2 million. 2 million.
Yeah.
Where does that money go?
100% in the project, because the issue is going to support the project that will eventually support over 15,000 young people. So we are thinking of strategic approaches of helping more, because if we build our school, our anticipation is that we're going to have 2 means of being in a school.
Okay.
One, you either go on tuition free, but with condition, meaning you have to serve the community for at least 2 years. Yeah, if you go through our program for free, even if you came from Bone County, for instance, and you want to to go through our tuition-free program, it means you have to sign a commitment and identify a community institution that after your graduation you will serve for 2 years.
Why is that?
Because we want to create an opportunity where professionals will stay in the county. So if you have the means of going on our scholarship, which is good, we don't have any issue with that, but it has a condition. It means when you are educated, you have a diploma, let's say for in broadcast journalism, or maybe you got a diploma or maybe a degree, because we're going to start with an advanced diploma. Eventually it'll be an associate, and it's going to be a degree granting institution. So if you benefit from any of those opportunities
through the scholarship,
through the tuition-free program at our institution, you must be willing to sign a 2 years agreement with us that you will have to stay. So if you identify to say, okay, I got my diploma in broadcast, maybe technical management, you have to identify to say, maybe I'm going to a community radio, Super Bongis for instance, Radio Banga for instance. So you have to stay there 2 years. That would be your school fees indirectly you'll be paying to the community. That's our
after the 2 years you can decide to seek employment opportunity.
But the fact that you've been able to serve, that is there. That's the approach. But you must firstly identify. So that's why in your application you tell us after graduation, this is the institution I want to work with. Even during your vacation, you have to go there to serve.
Kwabo, you know, as I do, young people and the many challenges, vulnerabilities, surrounding young people. You see young people ending up in ghettos and all that. You know well about the experience in Zozo. Are young people subscribing to this your youth-led empowerment philosophy? What do you think about what's happening with young people like you? Are they subscribing to the work that you do?
They are subscribing because the first thing is they see you as an example. So to say like Vafle and I were here, but Vafle were fortunate to have gone out, study, was fortunate to have obtained this degree, but came back, then I can do it. That motivation keeps them together, right? And it keeps building their hope that yes, if this man who was here, because I remember during those challenging moments, we would carry cucumber to school as we said. The rice bag, we would cut it and tie a rope on it, and then that's our ball bag. So they understood all of those things that we went through it. So if they see us come back to the same community and be able to transform their lives, they take it so serious. They are involved. And this is a mission. And that's why we say we are not just a radio station, we are a mission for transformation. So they're actually involved.
A mission for transformation. This is the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. Let's take calls. Many thanks to the community radio stations in Zozo, Lofa County, relaying this special interview with our Momo Hero of the Year, James Kwabo. He's here on the Super Morning Show. Call us on 07705818886, 07705818886. Especially those from Lofa County, I'll already be excited if I can get calls from there. On 07705818886 and be live on the Super Morning Show this morning. Let's hear from this caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
I'm fine. What's your name?
I'm Daniel F. Mama, and I'm calling from Mango Town, Central Virginia.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Firstly, I would like to say a big thank to Momo Hero of this year. I appreciate his innovation, and the only word of encouragement I have for him, and what I have to tell you is that he should decentralize what he has started in other counties, because this is not just about local. There are other counties who need such an innovation, but they don't have the person who could do it for them. So at least we can do it for other counties.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
This morning.
Yeah, Lawrence. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
First of all, let me say bravo to Mr. Guabo because whenever the other radio go off here, I always follow his also. Whenever you make it up proud, someone will you throughout left and right. But family,
Yep.
who has a dream for the country, the country will one day reward you with what I have done for you. Thank you so much for all because we lost the call with local radio that connected you this morning. But that's it. We said it with you, Bravo. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Lawrence Baba. Always calling me from Lofa County. Call us on 0770581886 and be live on the show this morning. 770581886. 0770581886 and be live. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Vavli, and it's an opportunity to speak to my here. I'm the official spokesperson of Tinkwabo
Okay.
for the legal election, Orlando Coleman.
Yeah, go ahead, Orlando.
Thank you ever so much, my boss. You know, he says something that is very touching. Around the world, communities are developed because professionals go back home. So to see on Kwabo to go back to Zozo is not just for flamboyancy. And it's to tell people that this country can develop if all of us try to decentralize our education, decentralize our experience, and we can make the community to develop. So LOSAL NTM have just verified what some are believing. We left from a university, we're in our districts and county. So people can be scouted to be a national hero, not because they are in Monrovia. You can let anyone to make impact. So all your impact is driving national agenda, then you are considered to be national hero. So thank you, Kwabo. I'm thrilled. Just months after the election of Aliko, which you didn't win, but you are proving that idea you're pushing on the national table. Thank you ever so much, and we say congratulations to Lusa for balancing, for fairly choosing you because you merit that particular award. And we from Team Kwabo are thrilled, and our message is resonating for the reason for which we're pushing you to be the head of Aliko. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
And they say every disappointment is a blessing. Had he won as Aliko president, he wouldn't, contest it anyway. For Momo Hero. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Ben Brooks, and I'm calling you from River J Fishtown.
Yeah, let's hear you, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you so much, Babli. Let me say good morning to James in studio. Actually, James and them motivating some of us when it comes to the issue of media. Though we did not come from the same region, but with part of his activities in local county and them motivating us to also be like him. We may not even reach to his level, but trying to be like him in our county, River J, and also being choosing to take the opportunity of being Hero Mumbo. We all voted him. I also encourage most of my guys at my radio station in Fishtown. We all voted him and we prayed for him, and today he reached that level. So I want to say thank you so much, James Kibiop, and who knows, God has the best for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brooks. Morning. Good morning. Okay, we can take 2 or 3 more. Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is John B. Summer. I'm calling from the last 10-point panel.
Yeah,
I'm on Lofa.
Okay.
I would like to be grateful to my pro. I can tell him my pro because he taught me in Central Art. I like to be grateful to him. He is a very innovative young man. I like to be grateful to him. I like to say, thank you very much for helping our brother to reach to this far. I like to be thankful to him. I like to be grateful for God giving more strength to do more knowledge and giving more wisdom to do more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning.
in the 12th grade, they never had the means of paying their YFE. So I raised over 350,000 like Brenda to pay everybody YFE for that particular year. So when we were going, so I said, look, say you guys are already going to write the exam, then I purchased almost like 3 bags of rice, butter and fish and other things. To just have them focus while they are there on camp. Yeah, fine. So that entire class, the name they usually call me is our father, because the issue is you're not going in a classroom to exploit. You have to motivate. This is where you come from. And so I'm glad that he has recognized that. And there's one other young man, he's right now with the port at the NPA. Yabazo Doba. He was in the 12th grade as well, just like a son to me. Practically doing, reaching out to him, supporting him. Today, the man came from the Maritime Institute. He's right now at the port there. Yes. So every time he sees me, he say, my father. So he has developed that mindset, and that's the kind of thing we want to keep doing. So I'm happy, and the issue of decentralization, it comes to resources. Once we have any donor support or even the media resources, will definitely reach out and decentralize our activities.
James, finally, do you have a political ambition in Zozo?
Not as I've decided, no.
Okay.
But should there be a need, if I'm called, that's something to study about. What right now, my 100% focus is how I can transform lives. But nobody predicts the future.
Okay. Well, that can give me a pause for thought. You're now dismissing the possibility, but right now your focus is on your project and ensuring that the young people in Zozo are empowered. Thank you very much, James, for being on the show this morning.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, he's James Kwabo, Lone Star Cell MTN Momo Hero of the Year 2024. He's been my guest on the Super Morning Show this morning. You can join me for another presentation of the SMS. Bye-bye.